This is massive for the Rams. We are talking about the Davante Adams injury update, some unfortunate news that we found out on Christmas Eve, as well as what the Rams are worried about in terms of the playoff seeding, the San Francisco 49ers creeping up in the standings, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor, consider pressing that subscribe button now, as we currently sit at about 5,042 subscribers on the channel. Really appreciate you guys getting us over 5,000, but we have bigger and better goals to achieve. We are already on the track and road to 6,000 subscribers here on the channel. If you want to see daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest, sometimes we miss a couple days. Sorry, I missed yesterday. We obviously want you to be here and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any daily Rams content, and then also any live streams, watch-alongs. When the Rams are playing, we will likely be live covering that game, including the playoffs, maybe even the Super Bowl if we get that far. So make sure you guys do me a favor and consider pressing that subscribe button so you don't miss any of all that good stuff. Before we get into the update here on, talking about Devonte Adams, his injury, the Rams standings, all that good stuff, I did want to talk about a story I missed yesterday. So I was supposed to post yesterday. Sorry, missed it. Busy week this week, obviously. But Joshua Karty poached off of the Rams practice squad yesterday by a division rival. It ended up being the Arizona Cardinals that poached Joshua Karty off of the practice squad. Now, if you're the Arizona Cardinals, right, yes, kicking situation, maybe they want to find a good future kicker for them. They like what they saw out of Joshua Karty, whatever it is. Sure, but I find it hard to believe that the Arizona Cardinals, and I also think the Rams kicker just missed a field goal. Let's kind of ruin their day a little bit and take their kicker off the practice squad and promote him to our roster for the regular season. So who knows if that's what the Arizona Cardinals had in mind, but Harrison Mevis misses his first kick of the year. Not to say the Rams would have considered going back to Joshua Karty, but I think they had him on the practice squad for a reason. I think they probably considered at some point, maybe down the road, bringing him back onto the roster. They end up losing him to the Arizona Cardinals, and we can bring up some more details here because we're talking about Joshua Karty. I mean, he was not that great of a kicker this season, right? Meanwhile, Karty made 10 of 15 field goals this year, 23 of 26 extra points. So not the greatest of numbers for Karty, but in 2024, while he was still on the roster this year, 29 of 34 field goals, not too bad. 6 for 7 from at least 50 yards. And then with Karty gone now, the Rams will have to stick with Harrison Mevis for the rest of the way, which will likely include the playoffs. Maybe somehow, some way, the Rams can bring in another kicker if they feel the need to during the end of the season, but I highly doubt they do that and move in that direction. So after going 8 for 8 on field goals and 32 for 32 on extra points, Harrison Mevis, playing really well this year, missed the his first kick of the season in Week 16. It proved costly for LA, as the 48-yarder, not that far of a kick nowadays, right, for kickers, would have put the Rams ahead in the final 2 minutes. Instead, LA went to overtime with Seattle and lost when the Seahawks scored a touchdown and converted that 2-point conversion. Of course, a lot of controversy around that football game, but overall, great game, obviously. I think one of the games of the year, if not the game of the year this season in the NFL, and ultimately the Rams ended up losing that football game. It is what it is. We can move on. You don't have to blame Harrison Mevis. You don't have to blame whatever you want to blame, you can, but the Rams loss is what it is. We move forward. We move on. And now the Rams are no longer going to be the NFC leader, because not as far as we know, right, at this current moment, they're not the NFC leader. It makes the loss a little more frustrating, hurt a little bit more, maybe feel a little less confident in Harrison Mevis. So I do want to ask you guys right now, you lose Joshua Karty, he's going to be your kicker for the remainder of the year. The thicker kicker Harrison Mevis will be. So let me know how you guys feel about the thicker kicker. Let me know in the comment section down below, how do you feel about Harrison Mevis? How confident are you on a scale of 1 to 10 on how good Harrison Mevis can be the remainder of the season for you, including the playoffs, of course. Are you nervous about having Harrison Mevis? Were you hoping Joshua Karty had a chance back in there? Let me know all those thoughts in the comment section down below. But moving on from that, right, not just speaking about the kicker, you now have to go the remainder of the season possibly without maybe one of your red zone threats. So let's talk about Davante Adams. So to win the NFC West, the Rams no longer control their own destiny after that loss to Seattle. In fact, between the Rams, Seahawks, and even the San Francisco 49ers, the Rams might have the worst odds to win the division. We'll talk about all of that in just a second with the matchups and who we have to root for the remainder of the season for the Rams to still get that chance. But the division isn't the only concern. Wide receiver Davante Adams hasn't played recently, and a new report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler is a bad update for the Rams' red zone threat for the rest of the regular season. So the Rams get bad news on Christmas Eve, of course. The Rams will very likely, or very well, could shut down Davante Adams because of his hamstring for the final 2 games of the regular season. This is ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Now, He's not saying this will happen. He's not saying that's what's going to happen. And we know Sean McVay. We know how this team operates. We know that they're very serious about trying to compete for a Super Bowl. And maybe they consider that Davante Adams playing these last 2 regular season games, at least one of them, would be beneficial for the Rams in terms of chemistry, being on the same page, all that good stuff going into the playoff run. But ultimately, it really does make some sense for the Rams to sit out Davante Adams. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. It's a lingering injury. He's an older receiver. You don't want to see it happen in the regular season and you miss him for any playoff time, right? So you want him to be 110% going into the playoffs. So you can see the Rams kind of really making sense of, hey, we can probably win versus Atlanta. We could probably win versus Arizona, regardless if Davante Adams plays or not. And obviously, they need to win their games to have any hope at winning the NFC West still. So if Adams cannot get fully healthy for the remainder of the regular season games, there's little reason to rush him back and put the playoff hopes at risk. 100% agree there. The Rams are the best team with Davante Adams on the field. Without him, they're still a really good team, but are they the best team in the NFL? I don't know if that's the case. Even if it means being forced to go on the road, the Week 16 loss already makes the Rams more likely wild card team as opposed to the NFC West division winner. So more likely, but not impossible. I do want to make sure we state that, right? Davante Adams may be out for the remainder of the season. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Are you nervous about that? Do you hope that he can play instead? I'm kind of okay with you sitting him out because I want him to be healthy for the playoffs. You're in the playoffs already. You want to win the NFC. Obviously, you want to be the number 1 seed, but you kind of messed up those hopes by losing versus Seattle. It is what it is. Tough loss. We move on. But if the Rams are going to be the wild card or whatever, or still have hope for the NFC West, you can still win these 2 games without Davante Adams. You can beat Atlanta. You can beat Arizona without Davante Adams. So I'm not too concerned about that, and I don't think you need Davante Adams to win these next 2 games. If you lose one of them, that's very frustrating, of course, but you hope the Rams can win out the remainder of the year. But again, still, it's not in your control whether or not you're going to win the NFC West. So ultimately, go without him, let him rest, because whether it's wild card or whether it's something else for the Rams, the NFC West, right, number 1 seed in the NFC, Davante Adams playing doesn't really have that much effect on it. If you win these games without him, you're probably fine. If you lose one, it is what it is. It doesn't really affect you because there's quite possibly you're a wild card regardless if Davante Adams plays or not. So let's just let him rest. That's my opinion on it. How do you guys feel about Davante Adams playing? Do you just want him to play? Are you worried about him not playing? All that good stuff. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section down below. But we can talk about the standings for the Rams and how scary and ugly it looks right now for the Rams, right? So you go from possibly win that game versus Seattle, not possibly, literally win that game versus Seattle. You are the number 1 seed, top of the NFC, expecting to play all your home games or your playoff games at home until you get to the Super Bowl. Really good feeling for you, but instead now you are sitting now at the 6th seed. Very ugly look for the Rams, right? If you're talking about what could have been and now what the reality is. But the Seahawks 12-3, NFC West wild card leader. Look at the other NFC West, winner, division leader. If you look at the other division leaders, it's the Bears, right, winning their division right now currently. The Eagles in their division. We're missing the 4 seed here. The Carolina Panthers are also winning their division as it currently stands. So the Niners have now crept up the standings and are now above the Rams due to tiebreakers and whatnot. So now the Rams are the 6th seed currently as it sits. Why is that concerning? Well, do you remember what happened last year? The Rams went on the road and they lost to who? The Philadelphia Eagles. Well, as of right now, the Rams wildcard matchup would be against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. So not really ideal. And I'm going to go full screen again because I am obviously glitching out a little bit here. You guys can see the lag a little bit. Apologize for that. Hopefully my voice sounds fine. But yes, the Rams would be currently as it stands facing off against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. Now, don't get me wrong. Am I afraid of this Philadelphia Eagles team? Not really. Their offense hasn't been great most of the season. Now they're kind of finding their way back. But you still got A.J. Brown. You still got Devonte Smith. You still have Saquon Barkley. You still have Dallas Goedert. A pretty good offensive line. Yes, albeit injured, but a pretty good offensive line still. You have Jalen Hurts, who has proven to win some games, whether that's with his legs, through the air. He's still a pretty good quarterback. However you feel about him, he gets the job done. They're 10-5 for a reason, right? So the concern is that this team would be, 1, they're pretty good. 2, they got Saquon Barkley. 3, they're going to be playing in the snow maybe, right? So those are all factors that you kind of want to avoid if you're the Rams. Now, don't get me wrong. Eagles fans will not be excited to see the Rams on their schedule. You can guarantee you that. The Eagles fans will be a little bit worried about that football game. But the Eagles seem to have had the Rams number the last couple matchups. So a concern for the Rams as well. So all that being said, the Rams have some things that they want to obviously root and hope for going into the playoffs. And so we can talk about that rooting guide just a little bit for at least this weekend's game. So Seahawks, Panthers, pretty easy one here. We're going hardcore Panthers fans, baby. Let's go Carolina. Cam Newton's a beast. We love him too. And shout out to Bryce Young. He's an NFL quarterback. Ted McMillan is a dog. I want to see this. Rico Dowdle, the running back. I want to see this team beat the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams need the Seahawks to lose at least one more game, and they'd probably rather Seattle get it out the way this week, so that way you're not stressing about it the final week of the season. As unlikely as this may seem, the Panthers upset the Rams in Charlotte. We saw how good this team can be. Can they continue to be that good versus the Seattle Seahawks? That's the hope, right? Rams, so they're certainly capable of doing the same to the Seahawks team that almost lost to Phillip Rivers. 100% agree with this entire paragraph here, right? This is possible. This is very possible. The Panthers are fighting still for their playoff lives as well. I'm pretty sure there's still a chance for Tampa maybe to sneak in there, but either way, I'm sure the Panthers want to win some football games here toward the end of the season. Seahawks do as well, so they're going to be very motivated themselves, but you have a bad Sam Darnold game. Maybe Bryce Young just has a great game. He looks like that flashing 400-yard quarterback again. He threw for 400 yards at some point this year, broke a Panthers record, I think. So can we have a superstar Bryce Young? Can we have a kind of a flop of a day for Sam Darnold? I think that's very doable, very possible. We'll wait and see if that's what happens. I cannot speak right now. Jesus. We'll wait and see on if that is what happens. Jeez. Okay. Moving on into the Bears at Niners. Pretty obvious here, kind of, right? So for the number 1 seed, the 49ers, if the Panthers win their game, you're rooting for the 49ers. I don't really understand this one, to be honest with you. I think I'd just rather the Bears win, period, because you want the Rams to win the number 1 seed, and for the Niners to be completely out of that conversation, I want the Rams to win out, and then the Niners lose one of these games. So I'm not even thinking about the wild card here. I'm thinking I want the Bears to win regardless. If someone can explain to me in the comments why you'd want the Bears to somehow lose that game, go ahead and let me know, but I kind of want the Bears to win regardless. So this game has a much less clear-cut side to root for. Why? Because the Rams want and need both teams to lose. Physically can't happen, so I'd rather the Niners lose, but sure. Unfortunately, but the good news is that if the Panthers win earlier on Sunday, the Rams' odds to earn the number 1 seed are going to increase from 19% no matter who wins between the Niners and Bears, which is, again, why I'm saying I don't really care about that. Then if the Panthers win, I'm going hardcore Bears. I'm still a Bears fan regardless. I think that should be good for the Rams. So Bears for sure versus the Niners. That is who I'm rooting for. I don't think anyone in this chat here would even want to consider rooting for the 49ers in any scenario. So, yeah, let's go for the Bears in that one for sure. And then moving on from that, we're talking about the Lions at Vikings, and I can give a more in-depth breakdown here. I didn't get a screenshot of it, but the Lions at Vikings and the Ravens at Packers. So these games don't really obviously align with one another. They're not necessarily go hand in hand, but these last 2 games, again, are not directly connected, but there's only a slim chance either one will affect the Rams. The Lions need a win and a Packers loss in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. How does that impact the Rams? Because if the Rams want the number 1 seed and the Bears win on Sunday night, they'll need Chicago to lose in Week 18. There you go. That is why you want the number 1 seed. But as long as the Rams win a division, 1 seed, 2 seed, I'm kind of okay with that. If the Rams can have most of their games at home, I'm kind of okay with that in my mind. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's why we're rooting for a Bears team to lose as well. So that is why you kind of are rooting in this situation. You're rooting for the Lions and you're rooting for the Ravens. That kind of helps you out a little bit for sure. So who does Chicago play in the finale? The Lions. So if the Lions lose or the Packers win this week, Detroit will have nothing to play for in Week 18. Doesn't mean Dan Campbell will pull his starters or take the week off, but ideally the Lions would try to win that game and take down the Bears. So that is why you want the Ravens to beat the Packers and the Lions to win their matchup. That way the Lions have something to fight for in Week 18. They beat the Bears. All of a sudden, bang, we have a chance at the number 1 seed again. So a really complicated way to end up saying the Rams got to win their last 2 football games. The Rams are not going to have Devonte Adams in those 2 football games, but they should be okay. They should win those football games. Now, let's go Packers, and let's go Bears. Sure, why not? Let's go Bears. That's kind of where I'm at currently. Let's go Lions. Let's go Ravens, just to kind of keep them alive, can hope alive for the number 1 seed for sure. Bears can lose their games on their own, I think. I don't really think they are going to necessarily need the Lions to be hungry in Week 18. I don't think Dan Campbell would pull the starters, but Either way, if that's really what you want to root for, that is how it's broken down. Let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel about the Rams' odds to win the number 1 seed. Do you think it's possible, or are your eyes set on the wild card? Are you worried about that wild card setting, possibly going to Philadelphia if it ended today? How you feel about all of that in the comment section down below. Please let us know, and we'll see if we can check out some of those comments throughout the Christmas break. Moving on from that, last episode's trivia of the day. For those who missed it, we asked this question here. If you guys don't know what this is, trivia of the day, I ask a trivia question. You guys give your trivia guesses in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out in the next episode that I'm on at the Rams Digest. Last episode, we asked this question: what is the lowest playoff seed to ever win the Super Bowl? The lowest playoff seed to ever win the Super Bowl. We had some multiple choice options for you. Was it the 7th seed? Was it the 6th seed? Was it the 5th seed? Or was it the 4th seed? Those are your multiple choice options. We had a few people guess on the trivia of the day. Always appreciate when you guys do so. Here are some of the guesses. We had Jim say, hey Josh, I think a couple of 6 seeds have won the Super Bowl if my memory is still functioning. Manuel says, I have a sixth sense about this. It's the 6th seed who succeeded in winning the Super Bowl. Floyd says the 7th seed. And Ryan Bain says 6th seed. I think it was the New York Giants, 9-7 record. So those are the guesses for what was the lowest seed to ever win the Super Bowl. Manuel says the 6th seed. Jim says the 6th seed. Floyd says the 7th seed. And Ryan says the 6th seed. The correct answer for the trivia of the day for what is the lowest playoff seed to ever win in the Super Bowl was B, the 6th seed. Yes, 100%. The Steelers did it in 2005, as well as the Packers in 2010. I'm not sure if the Giants were technically a 6th seed, but maybe they were, and maybe that was their seed in that playoff run as well. But appreciate all of you guys for playing along with trivia today. I got to give a special shout out to the ones who got it correct. Shout out to Jim, shout out to Manuel, and shout out to Ryan for getting this trivia of the day correct. If you guys saw this trivia question, you're like, that was pretty easy. I kind of want to shout out just like those guys just got on the episode. Well, then play along with today's trivia of the day, so you get a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Last episode's trivia of the day. Last episode's trivia of the day was, we just said, this is today's trivia of the day, and I'm a little worried that I may have asked something similar on the channel. But you guys let me know how you guys feel about this question. If I've asked it, I'm sorry. If I haven't asked it, cool. Who has the most career playoff receiving yards in NFL history? Who has the most career playoff receiving yards? Is it A, Larry Fitzgerald? Is it B, Julian Edelman? Is it C, Randy Moss? Or is it D, Jerry Rice? Who has the most career playoff receiving yards in NFL history? Is it A, Larry Fitzgerald? Is it B, Julian Edelman? Is it C, Randy Moss? Or is it D, Jerry Rice? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode, on today's Christmas Eve special of the Rams Digest. Please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. We're making videos on Christmas Eve, Christmas week. Please do us a favor and subscribe so you guys don't miss any daily Rams content. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.